This is 1978. Floyd Mayweather Sr. versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Do you see the stance Floyd Sr. is in? Floyd Jr. was born in 1977. Have you heard how early he was introduced to boxing? Remembering that Floyd Sr. is a world-renowned trainer, it's likely that Floyd Jr. was shelling up and rolling his shoulder at the same time he was learning to walk. This is the result. In my mind, Floyd's shell and shoulder roll as a foundation of his defense belongs with Pac-Man's offense in the file of do not copy. In spots, sure, the Philly shell is great if well learned, but Floyd's shell is his birthright, and combined with God-given cat-like reflexes, Floyd did things that 99% of us just can't do. I didn't want to make this just about Caleb Plant, as he's certainly not alone. So let's go through these issues that the rest of us have using the Philly shell and shoulder roll. A lot of Philly shell and shoulder roll practitioners have a problem with dropping the backhand. It's a common mistake in every defensive system in boxing. We're attempted to parry a body jab in a closed stance, but if you're going to do it, you should at least catch a parry away from your chin with the reverse step. With the Philly shell in particular, there is no need to drop your backhand. The lead hand is a sling protecting your body already, plus the more bladed your stance is, the less of a target area there is for a punch to the body in a closed stance. A lot of Philly shell practitioners don't use their legs and just stand stationary in front of their opponent to block, roll, and duck punches. It's simply not sustainable against higher levels of competition, as they will eventually find a way to force openings. Even Floyd found himself getting hit while trapped on the ropes using the Philly shell and shoulder roll. The memorable images of Floyd with a bloody nose against Cotto came from Cotto ending combinations with the jab after Floyd blocked and rolled most of his other power shots. But Floyd definitely wasn't stationary if he could help it. Reverse steps, reverse shuffles, and ducking and smothering the clinch were a constant in his game. Very rarely could an opponent load up on a punch and have Floyd just standing there in the shell waiting to eat that impact without moving. What's the main target area that's open in this picture? Unfortunately, it's your face. Rolling the shoulder to deflect the punch in real time isn't easy. It takes a degree of defensive timing, and aside from maybe the largely unknown stonewall defense, in no other defensive system do you lift and roll your shoulder in boxing. I can't tell you how many drills and how many rounds of sparring you need to get it down pat, but I guarantee you it's a lot by anybody's standards. We see championship level fighters attempt a shoulder roll only to be caught not effectively timing and rolling the shoulder on their opponent's backhand punches. If you're not great at rolling the shoulder, then you're essentially playing a game of Russian roulette with your opponent's most powerful punches. A hell of a risk to take in a high-level fight. Note the upper torso lean and the raised lead elbow Floyd uses that helps parry or deflect the backhand punches along with the roll. Allow me to be more direct in saying that this shit is hard to do. The last difficulty using the shell I'll talk about is one I covered in detail in my very first video on this channel, allowing the weak side angle. In that video, I displayed how Floyd himself showed us how to beat the Philly shell and shoulder roll by attacking the weak side angle. But even before Floyd, Roy Jones Jr. showed us the same versus James Toney. Same deal for fighters today who don't or can't make the proper adjustments. But of course, there's a counter for everything in boxing. Floyd simply ducks, pivots, and shuffles away to reset. You simply don't need the Philly shell and shoulder roll to be great defensively. Without years of dedication to the defensive system, it won't be efficient. Most should probably just let it go. Unfortunately, some networks don't allow their footage to be reused for analysis on YouTube, so it gets blocked. So everything that they block, I put on Patreon along with all my other content. Become a patron and don't miss a thing from Boxing Gems.